Hello, and welcome to your field study. Before we get started on your grade specific and Georgia specific field study, we're going to take a look at monuments and architecture around the world. There are numerous monuments around the world that we recognize, and I'm going to pull 4 of them that you probably recognize with specific locations. But before we get started, let's talk for a moment. Around the world, there are many big monuments. They might be sculptures or they might be architecture. And there are many reasons why people make this art and why these pieces of art are located outside. Take a moment and think about those. Think about, why do you think we put some artwork outside? Why do you think we have artwork where people can see it the most? Now let's look at some of America's big monuments, including America's most famous statue, the Statue of Liberty. The Statue of Liberty was dedicated in New York City in October 28, 1886. It was designed by Frederick August Bartholdi, but it was created by Gustav Eiffel. And yes, you recognize that name, I'm sure. The statue itself is 151 feet and 1 inches tall, or about 46 meters. But from the base, the foundation of the pedestal, all the way to the tip, it doubles. It goes up to 305 feet and 1 inch, or 93 meters. The Statue of Liberty is arguably one of the most recognizable American icons. Most people around the world, even if they don't know where America's capital is, they'll recognize the Statue of Liberty. Next, we have the Eiffel Tower in Paris, France. Another landmark, famous location. The Eiffel Tower was constructed for 2 years from 1887 to 1889 to be the entrance to the World's Fair in Paris. It was named after the engineer Gustave Eiffel, whose team designed and built it. It is 1,063 feet tall, or 324 meters tall, which makes it about the same size, a little bit more than an 80-story building, and is the tallest structure in Paris. Again, this is a very famous landmark or icon. Most people would recognize this as being a French thing, and they would be able to tell you that it is located in Paris, even if they might not know that Paris is the capital of France. Next, we have the Great Sphinx in Giza, Egypt. The Great Sphinx. While it is impossible to know who built the Sphinx because of its age, it is generally believed to represent the pharaoh Khafre. It is believed to be 4,500 years old. It measures 240 feet long from the back to the front, and then 66 feet tall from the top of the head down to the bottom. And you can see in some of these pictures, especially if we go back one, it is located near the pyramids, and then I wanted to put these pictures in here so you could see how close the pyramids are to a city. Now we have the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco, California. Construction started in 1933 and it ended in 1937. Before that, there had been a ferry service, which means that there was a boat that would carry people across the bay. It was headed by a man named Joseph Strauss. The height is 246 feet tall at its biggest, and while the whole bridge is 1.7 miles, there is only 0.79 miles over the water, which means there's still more land around it that's considered part of the Golden Gate Bridge. So, middle school, we're going to take a look at some of Georgia's public artwork. Georgia has a lot of monuments, statues, murals, and more. In particular, we're going to look at 3 statues created all by the same artist, by a man named Martin Dawes, and they are all located at Georgia Tech. The first one we're going to look at is called the 3 Pioneers. The 3 Pioneers is a trio of sculptures that are based on the first 3 African American young men to enroll in Georgia Tech. They enrolled in 1961. The artwork was completed in 2019. The 3 young men are Ralph A. Long, Jr., Lawrence M. Williams, and Ford C. Green. Those are the 3 men in the picture in that order. You can even see in the top right picture one of the, well, I guess not young men anymore, one of the men when the statues were dedicated. It is located on the campus of Georgia Tech. The next, we have a sculpture dedicated called the First Graduate. The First Graduate was also completed in 2019 and is dedicated to Ronald Yancey, the first African American student to graduate from Georgia Tech. That's him in the blue on the bottom left corner. The other 3 are the young men from the Pioneer. The other 3 students did not graduate from Georgia Tech, but that's because one of them left to join the Air Force and the other 2 left for other schools and graduated from those. The First Graduate statue, even though it's pictured in that bottom right corner as outside, is actually located in one of the common rooms or common hallways at Georgia Tech. And the last statue we're going to look at is called Continuing the Conversation. Continuing the Conversation is a conversation between Rosa Parks, young and old. It was completed in 2018. You can see that young Rosa Parks is on the left in that tall picture, and older Rosa Parks is on the right. Her niece attended the unveiling of the statues, and the statues include one empty seat between the 2 women. So your exercise for today, in your STEM journal, write a My Field Study notes and the date. Choose one of the statues that we've looked at and write a half-page reflection. How does it make you feel? Why did you choose that statue? Why do you think it was or is important to have artwork like these out present? Don't forget that you can use the links that are going to be in your documents to take a look at more about the statues if you would like. All right, thanks, middle school.